Hello, all my chickadees. We're about to jump on in and see what our lovely boy gets up to this time. How's everybody doing today? I really overslept. Who has two thumbs and overslept? This guy. Oh, goodness. I didn't mean to oversleep that long, but, you know, when the pillow calls to you, it calls to you, I guess. I was like, it's not that late. And it was like 1:30, and I'm like, what? Alright. We got our boy pulled up there. There we go. Okay, we're gonna start here in a second. I was just sending out some notifications. Alright. Hello, I just dropped everything on the floor. Okay. Hello, Ohilia. Welcome in. Okay, there we go. Hello, all my chickadees. Welcome back to Mannequin Academy. This is part 8. If you haven't seen the other parts, hop on over to my channel and check it out. It has been getting interesting. I mean, when is it not interesting? Our boy's always up to something. But we are continuing our work on the Norse route. And our boy's a little jealous right now, or is a little jealous. Oh, I remember what happened. I remember what happened last time. The Academy was putting new regulations and rules in place for the Omegas. That's right. Omegas are not allowed out after dark anymore. And we can't go into the beta or alpha's dormitories. And there's like a bunch of other rules that they popped down for us. Hello, Twisted Wonderland King. Welcome in. Hello. I can't wait for Nor and Aura to finally talk the compliments and not have in stock our couple's kiss. What? Okay, Chef. I swear if I have a coin for every time I come here late, I would have a lot. King, just so you know, I'm the late one today. I overslept, really bad, because this was supposed to start at 12. But you know, better late than never, yeah. You're right on time, King. Alright, let's jump in. Okay, yay! I put it on a new page this time, so I can find it easier. Alright. There's no one here. Okay. What happened? Oh! A ghost just talked to us. That's right. Somebody... We heard something and then nobody... We've met a ghost. I really bet it's Laurent, right? Right? There's no one here. No one here? But I definitely heard it. That voice. It was... I stood frozen in place, shoulders trembling. My eyes kept flickering from one side of the hall to the others wildly, making sure that no one was hiding in the shadows, waiting to play another trick on me. They're in the walls! I mean, I would love for there to be a guest, but if you're right here and you hear someone talk to you, someone is in the walls or the ceiling, okay? And I bet it's Laurent. But Laurent is physical. Is he? Is he? We haven't touched him yet. We haven't bumped into him, and he's pale enough to be a ghost. I say he's a ghost. Oh, hello, Jalamy. Feel free to lurk. I stood frozen in place, shoulders trembling. My eyes kept flickering from one side of the hall to the other wildly, making sure that no one was hiding in the shadows waiting to play another trick on me. It couldn't have been real. It simply couldn't. But the soft, whispered word echoed in my head, so very distinct, igniting a spark of long-forgotten warmth spreading in my belly. Why is it igniting warmth in your belly? Dude, I'm worried. A minute passed, then another, and another. I've heard this voice somewhere before, I'm sure of it. I couldn't move. I must be losing my mind. When I got back to my room, I was surprised to see that Cammy wasn't there. His bed was unusually messy, with pillows and blankets all over it. And when I took a closer look at his desk and wardrobe, I realized that most of his things seemed to be missing. No! No, Cammy packed up and left? Well, I mean, he left. He hurried and packed and left. Aww. Cammy. I mean, the new rules on Omega are horrible. And he did say he was not going back to the heat room, and now they're like requiring Omegas to go to the heat room. Cammy, you didn't even tell us bye. Aww. Aww. Early vacation? Oh my god. Aura, baby, sweetie, it's not an early vacation. He left. Don't tell me. Did he leave? No, that's impossible. He wouldn't. Would he? Cammy has had so many plans and on multiple occasions that his future relied entirely on his success in the academy. He wouldn't just disappear like this. I should have talked to him. I paced around the room nervously, trying to convince myself that Cammy wasn't the type to just forfeit something as important as his academic degree and leave without a word. But if not, then what happened to his books and clothes? There was really no other explanation. I want to talk to Julian right now. Damn this curfew. If someone sees me outside the Omega Wing, I might get expelled. Not to mention that at this hour, Julian is unlikely to be in the student council room, and it's not like I can go to his room. Or can we? With a heavy heart, I decided to worry about this tomorrow. Dude! And who knew? Even if Cammy did try to leave under the spur of the moment, perhaps he would change his mind and come back after all. Okay, listen, dude, what you need to do is go to because they said the teachers are going to be like walking around. Go to the Omega Wing door, open it, and wait for a teacher to walk by and be like, yo, hey, can you go get Julian for me? I need to talk to a student council president, because the student council, they are allowed in any of the wings without trouble. And then the teacher would go over and be like, hey, Julian, if you're awake, an Omega needs to talk to you. And then Julian would come out and then come back in, because you know he would. He's very dedicated to being helpful. And then we can talk to him and ask. Voila! Dude, you gotta try harder than, well, I'm going to bed. Oh my god. uh, yeah. Yeah, you guys are even like, he can't have gotten far. We gotta go get him. Oh my gosh. Laura, you're frustrating. I drew the curtains using much more force than necessary, trying to ignore the dull ache in my chest at the thought that I might not see Cammy again. The new regulations were horrible and unfair, but I couldn't help but doubt that... Go back. That they wouldn't drive the other Omega to escape and leave everything else behind. At least, not immediately. Not without at least trying to challenge them first. Did he get kidnapped? I dragged my feet towards the bed, meaning to change into my nightwear and hopefully get some sleep before the panic overtook my senses completely in the morning, when I noticed something peeking out from underneath the floor frame. Piece of paper? Did I miss it when I entered the room? Clearly. Oh, it's from the book. Leading stars Omega, Alexander Liloff, and Alpha Louis Ardell were declared missing? It was only a matter of time, Liloff's costume artist told the Daily Journal. They were in love and wanted to be left alone. The management wouldn't have it, so their only option was to run away. I personally am glad that they did. Oh, is that what happened? Wait a second. It took some searching, but after a couple of minutes I found what I was looking for. Tucked neatly between the pages of Forever is for Lovers was the first part of the torn article that I found in the storage room all those days ago. Holding my breath, I put the two parts together. As I thought, it fits. Oh. But how did it get there? Somebody had the piece. How did they get there? Huh. An eerie feeling of deja vu sent a cold shiver down my spine. Still, I couldn't wait even a second longer. I had to read it. Where are you starting off at? Oh, right there. I was like, that's not the start of the series. To those. Oh, the road. Okay. This was talking about how, yesterday morning. Oh, yeah, you were right. Somebody got beheaded. I forgot about that. Yesterday morning, a heavily severed and beheaded body was found in the main hall of the famous Grand Rose Theater. Although the victim, a young man in his 20s, has not yet been identified, the theater staff suggests that the body might belong to one of the recent stage play spectators. I remember a man dressed in a similar suit, a woman told the investigators. He was tall and blonde, hair on the longish side. The police are currently investigating the ghastly crime. Fans of the theater, still in utter shock due to the recent change of mysterious occurrences regarding the facility, will undoubtedly be shaken to their core by today's gruesome news. To those of us who need a reminder, a few months ago, the theater's two leading stars, Omega Alexander Liloff and Alpha Louis Ardell, was reported missing. It was only a matter of time, Liloff's costume artist told the Daily Journal. They were in love and wanted to be left alone. The management wouldn't have it, so their only option was to run away. I'm personally glad they did. They ran away a few months before the murder happened. Is Louis Ardell the other man from the painting? Yes. Wait a minute. New theory. What if the headmaster did this? Because remember, the headmaster was a fan of Sasha. And then be jealous of him stealing away Sasha So that's why the portraits are damaged like that. Because he didn't want to damage the whole portrait because Sasha was in it. Theory time! The one without the face? So they were partners. Him and Alexander Liloff. Not only on stage, but also in life. At least, that's what the others seem to think. Ah! Ohelia's like, ding ding ding! Haha! That took me far too long to put that together. Hang on. Are you confirming something, Ohelia? It looks like you are there. Like they left to make a good baby. So is Aura actually their kid? Don't answer that, but that would like make sense. Like, you know, one of our theories that Aura is Sasha and Lewis's kid, but then why did he grow up in an orphanage? What happened to them? Did they die? Did they get murdered? No, I'm not. Are you just teasing me again? Oh goodness. Okay, hang on. Okay. That's for you to think. Oh goodness. My eyes skimmed over the text once again, unconsciously searching for any missing clues. The actors just left their theater careers behind to be together. There's beauty in it, I think. And courage. I put both parts of the article back in the book gently, wondering where the second piece had come from. First, that strange whisper, and now this. The ghost wants you to know. Oh, flashback, flashback! Sasha? Sasha. I'm sorry, what were you saying? I asked about the makeup. Is it gonna take long? We need to rehearse our parts at least one more time. The makeup? Yes, well, I still need to put powder on my face, and, where's that wig? The one Adam brought yesterday. He gave it to you, right? Did he? Are you okay, Sasha? What's wrong, Sasha? And don't say nothing. I can tell when something's up. Usually you're the one who remembers everything, helping all the other actors out. The stage director practically appointed you as the right-hand man. Louis, let's not talk about this now. I'll be fine. I just need to find that wig. It's him, isn't it? Did he come here again when you were alone? Oh no, did he? No, he wouldn't. He wouldn't do something like this. I don't think. I hope that he wouldn't. He doesn't know my schedule. But you're thinking about that man day after day. It's like a sickness. Well, he was practically assaulted and blackmailed in his own dressing room. You know, an area that he should have been able to be safe at. I would be worried too. He's pushy, aggressive even. We suspected that it was gonna be like this when you turned him down, but the situation is getting out of control now, don't you think? He's obsessed with you. I know. Do you think I'm blind? Of course I know that. Every morning when I come here, I find a new letter. Sometimes there's a rose pinned to it. Sometimes it's just a perfumed envelope. I threw out a few of them without reading, but the rest I begged the assistants not to bring them anymore, but they said that they had no other choice. I don't blame them. What did the letter say? You know what they say. Not the recent ones. Did they get worse? Oh no, they did get Sasha, what do you want me to say? It doesn't matter, does it? It does matter! It does matter! If I say that they got worse, more explicit, more accusory and frightening, would there be anything that you or me or anyone else for that matter could do about it? I don't think so. He could do whatever he wants and no one can stop it. He can write all those things, threaten me, say I belong to him. He's wrong. Sasha, he is wrong. We've already dealt with this once. We can do it again. The letters may be horrible and scary, but that's it. He can't and won't touch you. Maybe, but it has to stop. He has to stop. So, I'll write... Oh! So, I'll write back. Don't. That'll make it worse. This one time, I'll write back and put an end to this madness. Don't, Sasha, don't. The price of beauty. I want you to guess who he is. Okay, I have 2 theories. Well, 3 theories about who this guy could be. One, they said the way they were talking, I thought it might be the same guy that came into his dressing room the first time. But I mean, they kicked it. You know, he left, so they left and they got like a new person. So maybe it's not that guy, the original jerk that made moves on him and was blackmailing him. Maybe it's not. Because that would be backpedaling to be suddenly like, oh, you know, because, you know. 2, this is the guy that ends up beheaded later. 3, this is the headmaster. Can't prevent what's already happened. Guess who was stalking him? And I want to get close and wanted to get close to him by all means and hates Louis and bought. Oh hell yeah. So it was the headmaster. Totally makes sense. Totally makes sense. Sasha, don't write back. Don't write back. Don't write back. Just don't write back. Okay. The next day, we had no classes except for the extracurricular activities that don't need a grade. Since the exams were already finished and all that was left for us was waiting for the results, the remaining lectures and classes were much more relaxed and casual. Why aren't you going and talking to someone about Cammy missing? Hello? Oh my gosh, it kills me how he's just like, oh no, this is horrible, I need to talk to someone tomorrow, and then the next day he's just like, classes were fun. You're killing me. You're killing me. The atmosphere was largely festive, with the students talking about their summer break, where they were planning to go and whom they would spend it with, even though in the beginning I envied them, because how nice it would be to have a family to go back to. Now all I could think about was Cammy and Nor, and how everything got so complicated so quickly. The fact that I couldn't talk to the person dearest to me was painful. Nor would surely offer some consolation, if nothing else, and finding myself in his arms was something that I desperately ached for ever since we stopped talking. which technically was my fault. I avoided both Nor and Esha, caught in the embarrassment of not knowing how to approach the issue that was bothering me. Deep inside, I knew it was silly. I didn't intend to stay away from Nor forever, so eventually I would have to talk to him. He probably thinks you don't want to speak to him no more. I wanted to. I wanted to be close to him again. Like in the park. Yeah, you guys were pretty close. Or his room. Oh, look at that blush pop up. We know what you're thinking about. The memory of his touch was both agonizing and gratifying. With him, I felt alive. I felt like myself, like I had a voice, a way out if I needed to, and a friendly soul to share this freedom with. Someone who understood me, capable of igniting a spark of forbidden excitement that I couldn't get enough of. That day, I woke up later than expected, but still decided to see Julian and talk about Cammie's disappearance before shooting practice started. Nor would probably be there, so it'd be a good opportunity I had in days to approach him. Finally, he's going to talk to Julian about Cammie. Oh my gosh. Your best friend is missing and all you can think about is how Nor will comfort you. Yeah. His Omega brain is taking over. I walked down the corridor towards the student council room, lost in thought, not paying much attention to people around me. The academy halls were beginning to empty, with students leaving to spend the holiday with their families. Some not even waiting for the exam results to be announced. We wouldn't have an opportunity to retake those that we failed until summer break ended, so it wasn't particularly strange that at least a few of my friends have already gone home. Whether they saw the results in person or received them by mail didn't make much difference anyway, especially when there was someone like Noah Blackwood. Momentarily, I regretted using Cammie's offer to visit his grandmother together. I really wanted a change of environment to relax and feel like myself again. But since I've already refused, it wouldn't be polite to tell him that I changed my mind. It was only when I heard a familiar voice, a voice I did not want to hear ever again, that I stopped in my tracks, abruptly waking up from the daydream. Oh no. Is it, Oscar? Ah, I guessed it right. Dang it. I changed direction just in time to hide behind a wall, relieved that they didn't see me. But the moment I took a step forward, meaning to walk away, Oscar's words grabbed my attention. Look who's here. The unwashed desert prostitute. For once not attached to his brother. What happened that you're not together? Fucking somewhere in a corner. Oh, they're talking about Aisha, aren't they? I leaned out to peek a little at the scene, realizing it must have been Esha that Oscar and Raymond had harassed. My stomach twisted into a knot. Go protect him! Go protect Esha now! Omegas, stand together! Oh wait, maybe your brute of a brother is with Moonbell right now, breeding that hopeless slut instead of you. I heard that they have ton of fun together these days. Ugh. Ugh, he's horrible. He's got such a foul mouth. It's a hot topic. Yeah, you guys started probably. Esha scowled, moving to brush past Oscar. His back was straight and his posture dignified. He wasn't afraid, and the dangerous glint in his eyes was that of a predator, not a prey. Oh, Esha's gonna mess you up, buddy. He looks so much like Nor. Well, they're twins! Where are you going? We're not done. Seeing that his words had no effect, Oscar's confidence dropped. But then he took a quick glance around, realizing that a small group of students stopped what they were doing to observe the confrontation, pointing at them and talking in hushed voices. Oscar gritted his teeth. He couldn't back off without losing face, and so he stepped to the side, blocking Esha's way. I thought you'd like to hear a bit more about it. Oh, you little... You're fouling my air. Move. Esha's voice and posture made it clear that he wouldn't tolerate Oscar's proclamations for much longer, and two betas that looked at the scene snorted, commenting on it loud enough even for me to hear. You think he'd had enough after the other twin nearly grounded him into fine powder. I'm all for this, though. I am too. Wait, are you all for... Are you all for his abuse, or are you all for him getting his butt handed to him? Oscar got red on the face, burning with anger and humiliation, trying to salvage whatever dignity he still had. He ignored the students, focusing his attacks on Esha. Don't make that face. Is this because you're jealous of Moonbell? I bet your bro comes twice as fast with you than with that cold fish. If it makes you feel any better. Oh my god, Oscar, just quit. Just quit and leave. I know I would. Raymond snorted, but he didn't look all that confident. But how does that work, huh? You let him do you both at the same time like good little Omegas? I hate this guy so much. Oscar went on and on, at this point babbling nonsense just to get a reaction. He seems a lot nastier than before, if that's even possible. Nor's beating must have really damaged his ego for him to go off on Esha like this. It's like he lost all sense of self-preservation, just spitting out the most hateful, repulsive comments that he can think of. We did a bit of digging recently, me and my pal Vince. Of course, Vincent. I am disgusted. I am too. And, what can I say? Alphas fuck whoever they want. It's not like you can keep them by your side, even by getting pregnant. Esha froze for a moment, his face turning ashen. Everyone went silent. Is he pregnant? Or did they just go too far? Because he was getting, like... He was going to the clinic a lot. But wouldn't that kick him out? Unless, what if he was pregnant before the term started? Uh-oh. My brain didn't have time to catch up with the meaning of what was said because I held my breath 1 second, and in the other Oscar's neck was caught in the iron grasp of Esha's hand, mercilessly pressing down on his windpipe. You go, Esha! You go! What use does someone like you have for a tongue? Oscar thrashed violently in Esha's hold, trying to break free, but the Omega didn't let go. Looking at his friend's comically bulging eyes and realizing that it wasn't a trick and that the twin truly was stronger, choking him, Raymond took a step back in panic, bumping his head against the wall. Their shock at Esha's display was plain and honest. They could be afraid of Nor before, but still thought of his Omega brother as inferior, unable to defend himself. I grimaced, giving it some thought. To people like them, we were supposed to be weak and afraid, rolling over in answer to every harassment, all except their advances, their insults, and the fact that we would never be considered equals. They didn't even take the alternative into consideration. Yeah, that he can protect himself and mess you up. Like, yeah, remember Nor did said at one point that it wouldn't be him going after somebody, it would be Esha. So, he doesn't have to protect Esha. Esha can protect himself. For many alphas and betas who were watching what was happening right now, Esha took all these misconceptions and squashed them under the heel of his boot with a crack. With a tingle of satisfaction, I guessed that they would think twice before assuming an Omega would be weak next time. Esha can be really scary. At that moment, I realized what Norm meant when he said that Esha could kill Oscar himself. It really looked that way. Whatever you think you dug up about me or my brother, if I were you, I'd make sure to never think about it again. Consider this your last warning. If you ever approach us after this. Esha was very still, staring at Oscar with cold, calculating eyes. You won't have a dick to substitute for your brain anymore. And maybe that would be a good thing. The pressure on Oscar's neck relented, and then Esha let go, pushing him away. The fright written all over the Alpha's face was clear and raw, and I worried that he was close to doing something foolish out of desperation as he gasped for air, eyes wide. At least a dozen students were staring at them openly now. No one was laughing anymore. Esha stared Oscar down for a while. Then his gaze slid over to Raymond and the crowd of stunned students. After a moment, he turned on his heel and left, walking right into the mob, not waiting for it to part. He knew that people would dart to the side, making space for him. And they did. It took me at least a couple of minutes to come back to my senses and process what I saw, heart pounding in my chest in a mixture of fear and awe. You go, Esha! You go! Heck yeah! You put that Alpha in his place. Yes. Yes. I am very proud of Esha. He's a good, strong Omega. By the time I arrived in the student council room, I almost forgot why I wanted to go there in the first place. Cammy! C-A-M-I. Cammy! Don't forget Cammy! Oscar's words and Esha's reactions to them were the only thing on my mind, and my brain tried to measure them from every angle possible, dissecting and analyzing. Aura? I didn't expect to see you here at this hour. Cammy! Cammy! Cammy? I thought I came here because... Cammy, you didn't leave? I was so worried. I wanted to look for you when you came back to the room, but... I, had the stupid idea to leave, yes. It's a little embarrassing now that I think about it, but I was just so mad. So annoyed with all this crap. And I still am. I don't think the feeling will pass anytime soon. They really played us this time. Let's talk about this later, okay? You're here! That's the most important thing to me right now. I was really worried about you. I thought you ran away. I almost have. But Julian stopped me. He caught me outside. 6th Sense or something. It was pretty late too. What a coincidence. What were you doing there anyway, President? I never asked. Not much. Just getting some fresh air after a long day of work. But it seems that I was in the right place at the right time. I'm glad. Wait, if it's that late outside, do you have something to do? Wait, does he know about the people that were like creeping around outside? Maybe he's like walking around seeing if he can catch them. Yes, thank you for talking me out of it. Julian nodded, his face expression turning to unease. You already know what I think about the situation. I had no idea what the headmaster was about to announce. I heard about a plan to lay down new rules for the students, but I never expected it to be so serious. No, you weren't, Julian. You weren't. Oh, he wasn't just out there for fresh air, was he? Yes, we found Kimmy. Uh, Poor baby was caught up in the moment. Yeah, he was. I mean, that was a lot to dump. And for an Omega, that was really overwhelming rules to suddenly be enforced. So, can't really blame him because he wanted to get the heck out of there before it got worse. Julian fell silent for a moment. When he spoke again, he avoided eye contact. His brows furrowed. And it's not just me. Some of the professors were absent during the academy. During the assembly, they weren't aware that it took place. Yeah, they didn't have St. Clair or, oh my god, I forgot his name, but the redheaded one, DeChario, they didn't have either of them there because they would have opposed this. They would have been like, dude, no. So they didn't have any of the ones that would be for the Omega side there, so they couldn't oppose or the rules, which is horrible. For whatever reason, no one told Professor St. Clair or Professor DiCario about it. I can only guess that it was because they would oppose the new code of contact. That's exactly what I just said, Julian. I'm glad to see I'm correct. I was speechless. I listened to Julian's words and couldn't quite believe them, but at the same time, I knew that he was not telling the truth. Wait, I knew that he was telling the truth. The headmaster tried to isolate those who didn't agree with the changes, even going so far as not informing part of the teaching staff about the new rules. Professor St. Clair was the homeroom teacher of all Omega students. He was responsible for taking good care of them and assisting them with every problem. But when the rule drastically changing his students' lives was imposed, he didn't get a say on it. It was insane. I spoke to Professor St. Clair already. He assured me that together with Professor DiCario, they would talk to the headmaster in private and try to, well, explain to him just how little good the new rules will do, and how disappointed they were in the way things were handled. I hope they don't get fired. I'm not sure if they're going to achieve much, given how passionate the headmaster seemed to be yesterday, but we need to stay optimistic. I know it's easier said than done, but please, try not to worry too much for now. Don't do anything rash. We will exhaust every option we have before we accept the new system. And even if Professor St. Clair doesn't succeed, there's still at least a few other things that I think we should try. Inquire. Things like what? We're a renowned academy, educating the children of many influential families. I know for a fact that even though the new regulations are mostly infringing on the rights of Omegas, at least some of the Alpha and Beta students would oppose them as well, given the opportunity. It is regrettable and a discriminatory that to this day there's a distinct oh my gosh, I can't talk. Hang on, I'm getting a drink. It is regrettable and discriminatory that, to this day, there is a distinction between people whose voices are heard and those who have no voice. Nevertheless, we have to work with what we have and get more alphas on our side to give us the influence that we need. Anxiety and uncertainty gnaw at my stomach, but with the knowledge that Julian was doing his best for our sake, I knew there was at least a glimmer of hope. I decided to take his advice for now and take my mind off the whole thing. Cammy fidgeted next to me already, one foot out the door. Cooking starts soon. I think the professor's not back yet, but maybe the substitute teacher will tell us more. Let's hope. We talked for a while longer, then thanked Julian for his help and headed to our classes. Cammy promised that he wasn't going to run away anymore, and that we would have a longer chat with me once we returned to our room. Having him back, at least one of the weights had been lifted off my shoulder. Yeah, we got Cammy back! Our sweet boy! I feel like I can breathe again. As it turns out, Professor DiCario wasn't there. Surrounded by the rest of the students pacing around the shooting range in confusion, I sat down on one of the bigger stones and made myself comfortable, waiting for him to arrive. No one was sure what to do, or if the class would even take place. Nora and Noah didn't come either. Oh my gosh, everybody's not coming! Did the professors get fired? Did they quietly get fired? I have concerns. Why is Nora and Noah not here either? What's up with the professor? It's not like him to forget about the classes. He's gonna be late, I think, but yeah, still odd. He also missed the assembly yesterday, didn't he? Yeah. Almost forgot about it. That fucking assembly. Speaking of which, do you think our headmaster lost it after all? Crazy grandpa must be really bored coming up with all this weird shit to make our life miserable. Speaking the truth. Speaking the truth. Oh my gosh, guys. I forgot Noah exists. Yeah, Noah's a thing. Cammy acquired with slight trauma. Yes. I always suspected that he is an egomaniac with a control fetish, but yuck. Man, you know, these students, they're speaking truth right now. Poor Omegas, man. He was especially hard on you, right? I like it though. These shooting class Omegas or Alpha seem to like respect Aura, so this is really nice. It took me half a second to realize that he was addressing me, his eyebrows raised and dark eyes locking with mine as soon as I turned my head in his direction. I didn't remember ever talking to those students before, but their tones were sincere, and they seemed to be having a relaxed conversation. So I nodded, deciding to join the exchange. Quite. It wasn't something that I expected from the headmaster, but I don't know him very well anyway. He seemed like someone who wanted to understand his students better, but I suppose it's difficult for some to put themselves in other people's shoes. The Alpha thought about my words for a second before answering. I don't think anyone knows him well. The old man doesn't talk much about his past. He did tell me that he was involved with the theater before, and that he bought the premise with his family's money to establish the academy. Oh yeah, he was the theater's biggest investor at some point. He boasts all about it till this day, displaying all the crap in his cabinets and stuff. Biggest investor? I had no idea. Seems like a weird attachment for whatever reason. Never gave a shit about things in, like, theaters, so, what do I know? What's funny about all this is that, from what I've heard, weird things started happening in the theater not long after he became its sponsor. Funny or tragic? He must have lost a lot of money on an investment that failed soon after he joined it. No wonder he was forced to buy the whole thing afterwards. He wanted to salvage at least some of it. Well, true. call it bad luck, but as we can see now, he was far from going broke anyway. During the past months that we spent together in the shooting practice, I noticed how the alphas and betas that previously looked my way with disbelief and aversion now treated me almost like their equal. The feeling of talking to them so freely was refreshing and simply normal. The conversation died down when three silhouettes came into our view, approaching from the direction of the academy. Hey! There's the missing alphas! Sorry for the delay, everyone. There was something important that I had to take care of, and these two gentlemen just so happened to come to me regarding the same issue. Unsurprisingly, whispers arose as soon as the professor spoke. It was strange to see him accompanied by both Noah and Nor, and while I knew that the former did run some errands for him in the past and had a good relationship with the professor, Nor was mainly slacking off, amused by how bad everyone else was still handling guns. What were the three of them doing together? But everything is under control now. So, did you prepare the shooting range? Let's start the practice. On the surface, the class was just like any other. It passed quickly once it started. Now that I knew what I was doing, it was thrilling and almost addictive to aim at the shooting targets and try to score higher than the competition. I enjoyed every moment of it, concentrating on nothing else but the task at hand. But deep inside, everyone felt that something was off. Ever since the assembly, the atmosphere in the academy had shifted to something unfamiliar, an environment that no one quite knew how to adapt to. Not to mention Esha and Oscar, and billions of questions and doubts that I had were eating me alive every time I paused to think about them. After the practice, I helped clean up and put back the equipment, fighting an inner battle on whether I should try to approach Nor or not. But no matter how much I yearned for him and wanted to cross that bridge separating us, I was afraid. Afraid of what he would tell me once I asked him about Esha. Maybe it's better to pretend I don't know anything, to have him for as long as I can. I was at the very back of the shooting range, storing the last of the targets in a wooden crate when I felt a hand closing on my shoulder. Lost in thought and entirely unprepared, I jumped back in panic, tripping over one of the boxes, almost falling to the ground. Shorty! Catch us! that was a close one. Aww! Oh, look, a little animation of him blinking his eyes. That's cute. That's new. I wonder if that's artwork they're still working on. Just like that, just like back then, Nor caught me just in time, his arms winding around my waist securely as he hauled me up. But something was different now compared to how it was back then. Sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. Even after I felt both feet under me again, there was no risk of losing balance. Nor's touch lingered, almost shyly, testing the waters, anticipating my reaction. Not you touching us like you didn't leave for a month exactly. As if through a bond that we didn't yet have, a flow of emotions made its way to my brain, alerting it that my mate, Nor, was not well, that he was struggling, and the sole reason for it was me. Well, we've been ignoring him and avoiding him when we should have confronted him and talked to him. You've been avoiding me lately, haven't you? I allowed myself a moment of silence, filled by nothing but the warmth of his embrace. Nor's soft exhale glided over my skin like a tender caress, his body pressing against mine almost, seeking contact. He rested his head on my shoulder. He missed me, just like I missed him, and when he was next to me, I felt that his closeness was my sanctuary, a sacred place of power where I felt the strongest, most protected, the only person that mattered. Nothing else was important. Nothing else made sense. Why were we apart for so long? Because you didn't confront him. You avoided him. Dude. Or you're a simp. He's testing the waters because anyone else would have pushed him away. I mean, you do have a point, Ohilia. Because of that night. In a splinter of a second, the illusion was broken. I stiffened in his embrace, too stuffy and uncomfortable to bear it. Nor was not my partner, not my boyfriend or mate. It was dangerous to think of him as such, and even worse to believe that everything between us was all right. We were a fling. As far as I was aware, nothing else. And the closer we were becoming, the more I knew it would hurt later. It was perfectly quiet around us, save for the chirping of the birds and the gentle rustle of the leaves, carried by the gust of wind. I observed them for a moment, watching as they twirled playfully in the air. The rest of the students had left already, and so did Professor DiCario. There was nothing to hurry for. No more classes to attend. Nor's embrace tightened momentarily before lessening. Then his arms finally unwinded from around me, falling to his sides. To my surprise, he didn't look dejected or hurt at my silence. We were standing next to each other, not saying anything for a while as we gazed into the distance. How about we take a walk? I feel like we have a lot to talk about. His palm grazed against mine lightly in an open invitation that I took absent-mindedly, lacing our fingers together. That much I could allow. Just for now. Holding hands, we enjoyed each other's company in a relative silence. Both me and Nora were reluctant to start the conversation, hoping that perhaps the other would go instead. We didn't even notice when our feet carried us to the edge of the woods. The place that I knew quite well by now came into view, as inviting as ever. The old theater. If anyone sees this, we'll be in a lot of trouble. Yeah, because now isn't the rules that this is completely off limits. So, that's how it looks. It's bigger than I imagined. It looks majestic. The interior is better than the exterior, though. Is it? Why don't we go inside then? Seems like much better place to have a conversation than a forest. It was hard to argue with that suggestion, but still I hesitated. The idea of going inside with Nor was very tempting, but Professor DiCario said it's not safe there. Apparently the roof could come crashing at any time, or one of the walls. Nah, come on. It doesn't look that way at all. I want to see it. I've heard some weird stories about this place. It has to hold a lot of secrets. The place that draws you in so much has to hold a lot of secrets. No one's going to find out. Trust me. Famous last words? Fine. Let's go. Oh, wow. That really is impressive. Nor raised his eyebrows, looking up the staircase. Father Sherlock would be proud of us. Finally, they're opening up. Now go investigate the theater. Nor raised his eyebrows, looking up the staircase. Have you been upstairs? I have. The scene is there, among other things. We took a brief look around the stage and then headed towards the main corridor, noticing that there was quite a few rooms that I previously hadn't noticed. Some had plaques on them, others didn't. It's a little hard to believe this building is just standing unused like this, right? It doesn't seem to be in bad shape, not like they say. I thought so too when I first came here. Yeah, I mean, if they wanted, they could still, like, hold productions here. But the professor's not letting it happen because he wants to preserve the memory of Sasha, I'm guessing. When I was alone, I didn't dare venture farther than that. But with Noor, I found courage to try the rows of doors, checking whether any of them could be pushed open without a key. A dressing room. Let's see. Is it the dressing room? It is! Oh, look how different it looks. Got stuff on the floor. A suit of armor. A painting, it looks like. Mask. Old clothes. Yeah, it's a little more beat up and less elegant than we remember. Oh, hell yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh, hell yeah. Maybe the headmaster comes in to sniff the stuff Sasha used to take. Oh my gosh. Okay. I mean, if he's that obsessed with him, he might. I wasn't expecting much, thinking that on the other side of the door we'd find a glaringly empty room like most of the others that we managed to open. But, to my surprise, when the door handle moved under my hand, it revealed a colorful room filled with furniture, stage props, and costumes, looking like it was still in operation, not abandoned some 20 years ago. The stuffy air was the only giveaway of its age. The rest was in near perfect condition. It's like magic. I felt a rush of excitement at the thought that this was where the actors dressed up and painted their faces for the plays, crafting the fantasy that later blossomed on stage. I took my time looking through the costumes and the items that were still there, as if waiting for their owners to come back. I passed one of the dressing tables, instantly noticing a red stain on the countertop, but not giving it much attention, as something else caught my eye. A red stain? It could just be a makeup stain, because if it was blood, it'd be a brown stain. Right? A torn white glove sticking out of one of the drawers. It had small black stains all over it. When I turned to Noor, I realized he wasn't paying much attention at all. The tall alpha was standing a little to the side and appeared oddly out of place, his facial expression hard to read. He looked at the dressing table as if deep in thought. Is something wrong? Noor's eyes flickered to mine. He scratched the base of his head, then sighed. No, I was just... This place reminds me of something I'd rather forget. Noor forced himself to smile. Never mind. Let's sit down for a bit, alright? I nodded anxiously, joining Noor on a Rocco style bench that had a few tears in the seat, but was otherwise fully functional. It was probably the nicest piece of furniture in the entire dressing room. We were sitting in silence for a while, our shoulders touching. When it was obvious that Nora was not going to say anything, even though we both knew the conversation was going to happen regardless, I bit down on my lip and took it upon myself. I wanted to start lightly, about the exams, the warm weather, inconsequential things like that. We had a lot of catching up to do, and talking to Nora was always a pleasure, no matter the topic. However, affected by the recent events, my mind had wandered off, and the first words that left my lips were, "About today's shooting class." "You went to Professor DiTario with Noah. Why?" Even though I suspected I knew the answer, I still wanted to hear it from Nor. I wanted to know everything about his approach to what was happening in the academy. The assembly. What they came up with is fucked up, and I won't just stand by and watch the Omegas getting treated like shit. There's enough of that in the world already. I was kinda surprised to see Noah Blackwood in the office when I arrived. Even more so when I realized he was talking to the professor about the exact same thing. "Are you coughing?" Yes, I was coughing. I muted the mic though, so you are amazing. To realize that. I'm surprised as well. Noah didn't seem like the type to care about such matters, and he never spends time with Omegas anyway. But it's good he was there. He seems like an okay guy after all. What did the professor say? He was pretty mad with the headmaster. Neither him nor your homeroom teacher knew about the assembly, so they couldn't do anything. I nodded, feeling pressure building in my chest at the reminder that what was to come. From now on, every Omega had to go to the heat rooms. We no longer had the freedom to choose for ourselves what we wanted or needed to do during our heats. Someone else had decided for us. I had a feeling every time you muted the mic, I would hear you drinking water. Yeah, my throat's just acting up today. I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm just muting it so you guys don't have to hear me, like, hacking to death over here. In a way, it wasn't much different from the marriage house. Our rights mean so little that they're taken away the second an opportunity arises. All this talk that we're equal is just fiction. A fiction that many, myself included, believed. I felt Norris firmly squeezing my hand. It's not fiction. One day, things will be different. We are equal, Aura, but it takes time to change someone's mind, especially when the issue at hand doesn't affect them personally. One day, alphas and betas will learn to respect omegas and stand for what's right. You know, put Esha at the head of that project, and they'll come to respect omegas very quickly. Until then, you need to stay strong and don't let their petty arrogance break you. I wish this day would come soon, before my next heat starts. I tore my eyes away from Nor, suddenly ashamed to mention it. I don't want to imagine being with someone I have not chosen. I don't care if they're hired by the Academy or not. It's no different from allowing a stranger to take advantage of me, treating my body like something they own. It sickens me. It feels like I'm... Involuntarily, my breath hitched. I clasped my lips shut, knowing that if I continued speaking, I would start to cry. No one will touch you without your consent, Aura. There was a dangerously serious note in the tone of his voice, and I knew that he meant what he said. When our eyes met again, I noticed a frown forming on Nora's forehead, his features strained. You and Esha. I'll not let anything happen to either of you. I shuddered a bit at the mention of Esha's name. The thoughts that I tried to push as deeply as possible resurfaced again, but this time I couldn't ignore it. It only made sense that Nora was shaken up by the new regulations when Esha was an Omega. Thanks to him, he must have understood, at least partially, just how difficult it was for us to be exposed and vulnerable, especially during heat, not to mention everything else. What I knew of their relationship was probably only the tip of the iceberg. Ask him questions. You guys are totally alone right now. Ask him questions. Feeling the mood shift, I knitted my brows and gathered all the courage I could muster to face Noor and finally tackle this matter. You asked if I've been avoiding you lately. I have. I didn't want to upset him or make the air any heavier between us, but I had to say what was on my mind and confront Noor about it. What was eating me alive these past few days? It had to be addressed. I thought so. Why? I took a deep breath. There was no going back now. I saw you. You didn't see squat. You listened. Oh my god. You didn't open the door. We didn't open the door. We just listened. Oh, stop saying I saw. Please. I'm fixing this. I heard you in Esha's room when he was in heat. It was as if time had stopped around us. Nora's entire form went rigid. I didn't mean to. It was a coincidence that I was even there at that hour, walking past his room. But I saw the light which stopped me, and then I heard your voice. A part of me hoped for him to interject right away, saying that whatever I involuntarily witnessed was just a misunderstanding. That him and Esha, despite every hunch that I've had, despite everything that was being said about them, that they were family and nothing else. You two are more than brothers, aren't you? Oh, we're getting to the bottom of it now. What are you guys saying over here? Is Fail sick? I don't think I'm as sick as just having like a cruddy day. I think it's just my sinuses draining, so I think I'm fine. I find it scary how laughs it off. No, it's okay. It's okay. If I was seriously sick, I wouldn't be streaming. I'm okay. It's alright. Oh, he'll tell us eventually why he left their country? Oh gosh, I skipped this bit. Oh, yeah. I can see why you might have skipped it. It's a little... Yeah. Okay. Let's continue. But Noor didn't interject. He didn't say anything using words, but his eyes were acute and apologetic, gazing at me regretfully. I felt like I swallowed up a stone. At that moment, I realized it was not a misunderstanding. Whatever I hoped Noor would say, he was not going to. The alpha shifted a little, turning towards me when he spoke. His voice sounded austere. I knew this conversation would come eventually. You even tried to talk to me about it on a few occasions, and I blew you off. I'm sorry. Between me and Esha, it's not so simple. It never was, though I wish I could say otherwise. Nora grimaced. It was unfair and wrong of me not to speak to you about it. I know that I was your first, and that you probably expected certain things of me, and yet I stayed silent, avoiding the topic like a coward. I think, perhaps part of the reason why I didn't feel ready before, I've never spoken of it to anyone, and I feared for years that one day I would have to. Digesting what it all meant is not the easiest. I'm ready now, though. If you wish to know, I will tell you. I had a realization that he probably didn't have anyone else to confide in. Anyone but me and Esha. And not only because it's the right thing to do and you deserve to know, but also because I want to. My hands were cold and trembling despite the mild temperature. Looking Nora in the eyes, I felt like I was looking at someone I was about to lose. But there was no way back. The bridge had gone up in flames. I knew this was a possibility, and yet I made that decision, fearing I wouldn't be able to pretend for much longer. There was nothing left for me to do but continue walking down that path. I nodded, urging him with my gaze to continue. Whatever he was about to say, I had to hear it. Oh, we're about to get all the deets. Find out exactly what the heck is going on with these twins. It really has to be something to do with like where they had to escape their country, right? I was ready too. I wouldn't back down. Me and Esha, we had been very close ever since we were kids. We had no secrets, no embarrassments. We shared everything. Was it connected to being Seneketi? A big part of it was, but our childhood was different than that of other I can't say this word. I know I'm butchering it. Skinarchy and Ketty kids. Nora fell silent for a moment, then sighed. I think I should start from the beginning for you, to really understand, if you don't mind. Uh-oh, story time. Our country is much different than what you're used to. Our society consists of several nomadic tribes. Most of the time, they coexist peacefully on the vast desert that is our land, making their living from hunting, trade, and craftsmanship. The weather is harsh and capricious, and I think it was one of the factors that hardened us and brought everyone together. Sinarketi. Sinarketi? Okay, thank you. Sinarketi. Okay, thank you. I needed that. Okay. Our ancestors grew up fighting adversaries, struggling to secure food and water while traveling for miles from one oasis to another. Everyone had to contribute, and everyone had to pull their weight, even the elderly and the children. The only other option was illness, famine, and death. Perhaps owing to that, the issue of gender dynamics and Omega rights had never really come up on Sinarketi. We were all one Sinarketi, fighting the same battles. Our Omegas were just as strong as the Alphas and Betas, despite being born so rarely, weren't seen any less. We all knew how to fight, track prey, and defend ourselves. We put a lot of effort into keeping our bodies and minds in good shape, always ready for every adversity. Our families, especially our Omega father, were excelling at it. Even as kids, me and Esha were more tenacious and resolute than others, trained by him in combat and survival. We worked, lived, and enjoyed the hard-earned comforts together. and we learnt how to appreciate the differences rather than let them divide us. The Synarchetti developed especially strong family bonds and a need to stay close to their kin. I can only guess that at first it was only instinctive and practical, given the circumstances. Like every other part of our culture, it evolved over time. I wish I could go there someday. Sounds like a wonderful place. But I remember you mentioned being forced to leave the Synarchetti. That you would have stayed if you could. Yes. Me and Esha, we were born in what was considered a good family. Our alpha father was a well-known architect and a visionary. He married our omega father, a martial artist and a performer of traditional Synarchetti dances, and together they formed a true fated pair, becoming a force to be reckoned with. Our alpha father initiated numerous development projects within Synarchetti, talking our entire family into it. There was a whole living complexes, water treatment systems, and large infrastructure projects, all initiated and designed by him and his closest co-workers. That sounds very impressive. It was. There wasn't many people like him in Synarchetti. People who stood out, trying to bring change. Trouble began when an important foreign investor decided to build a railway that would run through the entire Synarchetti, from north to south, to make the traveling, communication, and trade between countries possible on a large scale. It was an idea that looked great, especially on paper, promising cheaper goods, faster transport, and cultural exchange. But the problem with it was that the railway would inevitably go across the Trail of Sacred Sands, the maze of deserts that many viewed as holy ground to this day. Any artificial construction there would defile the sacred sands. The Trail of Sacred Sands? I think I read about it in one of my books. The trail resembles a mountain range made of enormous sand piles. Near people called it a temple. Yes. As a nation, we hadn't developed much sacred architecture, but our faith has always revolved around the gods that were born from the sands. According to legends, they reside in the trail, blessing the entire Synarchetti from there. But the investor insisted, and eventually gathered a lot of support for the idea, both in his country and in ours. One of his close co-workers was my father, my alpha father. He backed the idea even when riots against it broke out. The railway was being built, but every day of the process was difficult as the locals started harassing and outright attacking the workers, hoping to delay the construction. During one such assault, the protectors attacked more violently than usual. At one point, my father and his subordinates, who were personally supervising the layout of the tracks, got pushed to the ground and trampled by the crowd. They made it, but he did not. Oh. They lost their dad. I'm so sorry. In the end, the railway was finished sometime after. His death was meaningless, but many locals weren't satisfied even after he suffered the worst punishment. Out of frustration and hatred, they started going after his closest family. They called us the betrayers of the faith and demanded that we submit to their punishment. Our Omega father decided it was best for me and Esha to leave the country while we still could. Funnily enough, it was the railway that made it possible. What happened to him? I don't know. He told us he would gather the rest of the family and escape into the far north, when no one would be able to find them. I have no idea if that's what actually happened, but I want to believe it. Must have been so horrible. Can't even imagine it. I wanted to stay. When he told us to go, I opposed his decision with all I had. I said that I could fight, that I could protect everyone, that I was strong enough. But of course, it was bullshit. Me and Esha were just teenagers back then, no older than 15 or 14. Had no power to do anything. Well, almost anything. Back then, my father told me that there was only one thing I could and had to do. That it was my duty, a task meant for me and no one else. And it was to look after Esha and to ensure that we had a future. Because we had each other, we had things to live for. He told the same to Esha too. We need to have each other's back no matter what. So we started traveling the world, involuntarily, still young and knowing close to nothing about what awaited us. We had some money to survive the first few months abroad. It was all that my Omega father could give us after we'd lost most of our wealth in the railway crisis. Within days, we were left all alone in a world so different from everything we once knew. There was no time to prepare, mentally or physically. We had to survive and learn another culture, its customs and laws from scratch. It had to be so hard on the both of you. To lose a parent, then be forced to leave the other? I never knew mine, but I honestly don't know what is worse. Where did you go? To one of the countries sharing a border with, your country, I assume? Yes. We went to Khan at first, but moved further south soon. We passed 3 countries and made our first stop longer in Zadar. It wasn't really a choice, but we were running out of money by then and had to find a way to make a living. The advantage was that we knew some of their language. We learned the basics of it at home. Nor and Aisha's life was like something taken out of a novel. The disadvantage. Almost no one wanted to employ two Senaketi kids. Zadar was the first country that we spent enough time in to notice that people looked at us different. And while it wasn't necessarily hostile, the curiosity of many made it clear that we weren't like them. It's almost like a visual novel. I know, right? We stood out. Our appearances, the color of our skin, clothes, jewelry, it was all new and foreign. When we tried to apply for jobs, people would ask us how an Omega could travel like this. Others would try to grab at us like we were made of wax, more interested in our bodies than they were in our skills. Naturally, Esha had it worse. He was the Omega. He was a homeless foreigner traveling with his brother, while all the other Omegas didn't even come out of their homes, unsupervised by their alpha mates. He was bold and unafraid, just like me. But in comparison, he was definitely the more cool-headed one, always good at measuring his strengths and chances. People didn't understand the inner force he had, the confidence that made him slap away their hands when they got too close and stare them down with his sharp eyes in silent warning. Never starting a fight, but always ready for one. To many, it was intimidating and completely out of their books, but it was something that we were only beginning to understand back then. It took us weeks to find employment, and once we did, a whole new kind of trouble started. Zadar, 10 years ago. The handsome man that approached us was different from the rest. His attire was bold and colorful, and he walked with all the confidence in the world, acting like everything belonged to him. And yet, it was clear that he was neither a noble or a merchant. He was getting looks from those around him, the same sort of looks that me and Esha came to know all too well. He was an outcast, perhaps a foreigner like us, though it wasn't nearly as obvious as in our case. But he understood our situation instantly and offered to change it. Circus ringmaster. Did they join the circus? I mean, that's better than, some things. I own a circus troupe. We could use some strong, athletic young lads to join our show. A circus? What would we do? The question is, what can you do? We have jugglers, magicians, ventriloquists, clowns, musicians, hoopers, but recently lost our two trapeze artists. I can see your faces. Don't worry, youngsters. They're doing just fine. But they left to be on their own, and we ain't holding anyone prisoner. We never done anything like that before. But you can always learn, can you not? There is potential in you, clearly, waiting to be discovered. And even if the trapeze proves to be too much, we could always use 2 new acrobats, or dancers even. Perfectly safe, with 2 feet on the ground at all times, no risk involved. Paid every seven days in cash. Your basic needs like food and water will all be on me. You won't get a better offer than this, trust me. And just like that, our new life has started. They working for the circus! We began the training to become acrobats. Esha, with his natural talent for dancing, was also given some solo performances, while I found myself tending to those circus animals, teaching them tricks. Ever since we were kids, we learned to cooperate and share. It didn't bother us that we slept in a tiny tent together, or that we had to rely on each other heavily during shows, as one was dependent on the other. If anything, we grew even closer, even more fond of each other. The owner of the circus took a liking to us. As soon as he made sure that we could carry our own weight, he gave us a better tent, better food, and more money and more performances. He would say that we had the looks and talents to enchant the audience, and that with us, his shows were more popular than ever before. It seemed to be true. People cheered for us, and we always had their undivided attention, both during the shows and outside of them. We became the troupe's main attraction, the 2 captivating, exotic aerobats that moved like water. Most of them didn't even know that we were Synarcheti, or what that meant. Perhaps they thought that our jewelry and tattoos were simple circus ornaments, but they enjoyed the look of them so much that after one of our performances, the ringmaster came to us with an unusual request. Every artist here has their own costume, and you need one too. We tried to come up with costumes that would subtly emphasize your features for weeks, and nothing seemed to work. You are to blame for that, lads. You're simply too handsome to be drowned in these colorful, gaudy silks. Perhaps less means more. The golden rings and the tattoos on your faces. What if it stretched down your bodies, making up for those parts that would normally obscure your movements? Wouldn't that be a splendid idea? We'll keep the bottoms, but get rid of the upper parts. Some light and shiny elements around your chest. Yes, that will look perfect. And so, our wardrobe was altered, switching to something that looked like an odd twist to what it was before, created by someone with a very vague understanding of our culture. Our upper bodies got covered by golden paintings and corresponding to those of our faces, shining in the light as we moved. It seemed to do the trick. The audience was ecstatic. During those first few months, we grew up fast. We had our share of friends and foes, but the majority approached us with at least some distance, unsure how to treat 2 teenagers that suddenly became stars of their show. There were 15 people in the troupe, and all of them worked for the ringmaster for years. Most were more than double our age. We learned what it meant to live with them, eat with them, listen to their secrets. At that point, me and Esha no longer shared the same tent. The ringmaster insisted on us having separate ones, as his most valuable artists need to keep up the appearances. He said it would be better for our schedules too, and shorten the time we needed to get ready for shows. And even though we had many performances together, Esha had his own gigs as a dancer after the main show was over, and I had to dedicate a lot of time to bond with the animals I trained. It made sense, but at the same time, it was a difficult change to get accustomed to. We used to spend all the time together, and now we're meeting for a few hours each day. First to train and then to perform. Aww. They're being separated. I mean, couldn't they still have a tent? Or they could have the tents right next to each other. If they're that, if they're that important, they should be able to, do what they want. What do you need to do? Okay. We're getting all the deeps. For some reason, I didn't expect them to join a circus. But I think that came up before. Our evenings, though, were often free. But instead of sleeping or resting in our tents, we sneaked out to take long walks around the circus camp, talking and relaxing in each other's company. On one such evening, we ran into a dancer who was working with us. There was only 4 Omegas in the troupe, including him and Esha. And as we found out then, he was making some extra coin on the side after the shows. Hello? Oh, he is pretty. Evel, you are pretty. He is so pretty. The Omega, Evel, was tall and pale-skinned, with long, straw-colored hair that he usually wore in a messy braid. His eyes were a warm hazel color, twinkling with mischief whenever he performed or cracked a joke. He was older than us by at least 5 years, and objectively quite pretty, good at what he did, too. Whenever he danced, he knew how to charm the pants off the audiences. It was no wonder that the others desired his company. It was such a shocking sight, how casually everything seemed to be done between him and the alpha that used his body, then threw him a couple of coppers. Havel smiled, accepting the payment, then fixed his clothes back into place and left as if nothing had ever happened. Even after he was gone, his sweet scent lingered in the air, teasing and disturbing at the same time. He smelt just right, like an Omega already in preheat, ready for the taking. I took a deep breath, trying not to let it affect me. We walked in on him again soon after, when we were asked to clean up after the last performance in the main circus tent. This time, however, Evel was accompanied by 3 alphas from our troupe. And he was in full-blown heat. Oh no. Alpha weightlifter. Yeah, baby. That's it. That's good. You take it so deep. Okay, we might be getting some interesting terms here, so if somebody's not comfortable with this, please click away. Thank you. This is your only warning, because I don't know what's going on. Let's continue. They were clearly enjoying themselves. At least the alphas did. The Omega, well, it was difficult to say for sure when he was covered in sweat and slick, delirious and unable to do anything except moan and writhe pathetically beneath the bodies pressing into him from all directions. But if there was anything that I understood back then, anything that I felt on an instinctive level as I stared at the hunched silhouettes in front of us, it was that the emotion comforting Evel's pretty features weren't pain, discomfort, or fear. It was pure ecstasy. And it got to me instantly before I could even think of suppressing those feelings. The sight of it, the scent, the stuffiness of the air, my entire body tensed up, ready to jump in and join the feast, push the other alphas away and take my turn. Oh, Nor's alpha part is rearing its head. Goodness. Esha's voice pulled me out of it. Nor, why? Fuck. Let's go. Don't look at them. Oh, his brother pulled him out of it. His brother, he was like, "Oh no, my brother! I gotta protect my brother." Okay, you don't see anything. Let's go. Later, I asked Avell whether he was all right. It wasn't safe for an Omega to be taken in his heat. As a result of it was most of the time getting with child. But he just laughed and said that he was fine, that he wasn't like other Omegas, and something like that couldn't happen. But it's very sweet of you to worry about me. Perhaps I should go find you the next time it happens. The other Omega performers listened to our conversation with obvious intrigue. When I turned to leave, I felt their glances on my back, almost as tangible as a touch. I didn't tell Esha any of it, and it wasn't until years later that I learned that he had a conversation of his own about this matter, but with the Alpha performers. Uh-oh. Heh, what do you mean, kiddo? What were you doing there anyway? Spying on us, huh? That's what Omega and Alphas do, you know. They fuck. Alphas are good at fucking, and Omegas are good at getting fucked. It's all that simple. You look kinda young, but you're an Omega, aren't you? You should know how it works. Maybe no one's taught him anything in the strange country he came from. I heard they barely read and write. That true, boy? Poor kid. Come to think of it, you're barely 14-ish something, right? Nah, 15? He probably didn't... Okay, I think I found a typo. He probably didn't get a real heat yet. Look at him, he's still a wee boy. He doesn't know what the hell you're saying, mate. Well, in that case, remember this. When one of you Omegas is in heat, Alphas ought to help. It's only natural. Oh, Fire Eater, hello. Not just in heat. Come to us any time, boy. We'll straighten you out. It's your body that's gonna need it, especially for an Omega apparently for an Omega, it's like getting thirsty or hungry, except you lose all facilities. So you might get yourself hurt if no one takes care of you. It's serious. Yeah. We Alphas, have needs too, kiddo, so don't feel bad. You got an Alpha brother, and he'll need to start pounding into some sweet ass soon. 'Tis natural. Oh my god. Give it a year or so, and you'll understand. Guys, they're kids. They're kids. You don't need to talk to them like that. Something changed in us after those experiences, even though not touching us personally, left a lot of confused feelings behind, gnawing at both me and Esha. In our country, people kept their private lives to themselves. It was customary that Omegas and Alphas bonded, mated, and became intimate as a result. They had children, started families. Aside from that, no one really heard much about Alphas being this way. Omegas being that way, and so on. Here, everything was different. Sometimes I wish I could talk to our parents about it and ask them what to do, how to deal with things. Oh, look at them! Oh, he's so pretty with his long hair. Nor, I was thinking. I barely remember how I felt when I presented, and I didn't get my first real heat yet. Will things change once I do? Between us? It was rare to hear Esha so worried and unsure. He never was, unless something was seriously troubling him. That was the side of my brother that only I knew. I wanted to make those feelings go away, not giving the question much thought. Why would anything change? You are my brother, and I'll always take care of you. Always. Don't ever forget it. Our life in the circus was always busy, and the way weeks turned into months and months to years was almost imperceptible. Time was a luxury, and it passed quickly. One day we were 15, the other almost 18. Birthdays are something that neither me nor Esha ever observed. But the successes of our show were celebrated. We had grown accustomed to our work and the other troupe members, becoming almost like a family. No one was bothering us anymore, not for being different and not even for taking the spotlight. We all worked towards the same goal, the same dream. The ringmaster built a whole new reputation for the circus, and most of it revolved around us, the mysterious twins whose bold acrobats shook the audience to the core. He praised us after every performance, bringing delicacies and gifts. We were his pride, almost like foster children. Reluctantly, we made friends. Some of them, namely Avell and another Omega, a hooper named Sunny, had even expressed interest in learning about our country and its culture. And Omegas are as respected as alphas? Really? I never believed that. You're just trying to deceive us with all the sweet words, pretty alpha. You're young, yet so good at this already. But on the other hand, you can't argue that Norn and his brother are different from others. Have you ever met an alpha who was this considerate before? Or a headstrong Omega like Esha? Aren't we headstrong too? I feel offended. You know what I mean. After the last time, I've never seen Avell in any compromising situations again. I actively made sure to avoid it. And it's a bonus that you're so handsome, too. Look at all those brutes in our troupe. I bet they're awfully jealous that every Omega would throw himself at your feet. Oh, they are! Did you hear what the weightlifter said yesterday? That Nor hadn't been in the troupe even 3 full years, and yet it's always him in the Omega's flock. Well, don't get me started about Esha too. Both gorgeous. It's very unfair. Okay. I'm gonna have to. I'm sorry to do this because I wanted to get past this scene first, but since we started later, that means we've run later. So I'm gonna have to end right here for the day. Goodness. We're gonna have to pick back up on this next week. This is really cool. I like us having this flashback and we're finding out more about their life as kids. Because, wow. They've been going through a lot, haven't they? It sounds like everybody wants to get in their pants. Yeah. Oh, poor twins. But at least we're learning more about what's going on. Okay. Thank you all for joining. Sorry I ran a bit, I started a bit late today. Hopefully next time we're going to start on time. I wanted you to get to the bit where they find the painting of Louis and Sasha. They find a painting? Oh, I want to get there, but I have stuff I need to do. I can't keep going today. Next time we will get there. Okay, so next Wednesday, as always, we're going to pick up our playthrough of Mannequin Academy right here. So make sure you come and tune in. And I hope everybody has a wonderful week.